guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Vinland Saga Season 2 Episode 3. This episode was really difficult to watch, but I am here with my breakdown and my thoughts for you guys. Before we get going, make sure you guys are subscribed. In 3 weeks time, we're going to have my midway review. I'll be crowning my top 3 OPs, EDs and current standing anime for the first half of the season. There's been a lot of really interesting titles coming out, so it would be a nice chance to gather my thoughts, talk to you guys about how I'm finding this season as a whole. What am I enjoying? What am I not enjoying? Just a fun little breakdown for you guys, so make sure you don't miss out on that. There's going to be a few chill videos going out this season too, so the first of which will go out today or tomorrow. If you're watching this and I chose to reverse it, it came out yesterday. I'm going to do a few more interesting little tiny videos, just it provides a bit of a break for me because a lot of the animes I'm breaking down this season are very heavy. Case in point, this episode in particular. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. I really enjoy having you guys discuss things with, so thank you also for your comments last video. Issues I had or questions I had were answered, so thank you guys so much. I believe that the guys were having regret for inviting Omar as a drinking buddy initially. It's an interesting one because Omar, for me, I still think is going to be a very key player. I just don't know how he's going to turn the whole I'm going to try and kill you guys to become a man thing around. I reckon the guy in the OP who smashes through the ice is Omar, but with a beard. I think. I just get the feeling he's important. Personally, I don't even think Omar understands why he's not knowing what he knows and how he doesn't understand. The whole Omar drunk rambling thing made no sense. I don't even think he understands why he's so frustrated either. Throws a full-on tantrum as an oversized man-child on the floor. Maybe it's the alcohol, but I think he was kicking off before the alcohol, so the alcohols simply just made it worse. Two who invited him out to drink in the first place were probably really reconsidering that maybe next time we should probably just go for a quiet drink somewhere else and not involve Omar at all. Very, very quickly, the whole situation turns super dark as we decide that instead of doing something worthy or productive, how to become a man, well, murder somebody. Okay, that wouldn't have been my first stop. Killing somebody is apparently a rite of passage. Maybe it was at this period of time. I can imagine there were a few people who would just prefer not to murder, but who knows? These two are certainly bad influences, and perhaps you might want to rethink your drinking buddies, Omar. I have no doubt that Ketil would not be happy upon hearing this advice because I don't believe Ketil wants this for his son. I think he's really trying to steer Omar to a peaceful farm life away from the army because very easily Omar's of age. He could happily go across and help Canute in England. His father probably needs somebody to inherit the farm. I can imagine he could make a son quite easily in this period of times. I do believe that Ketil doesn't want this for his son. Harsh truth that people just see slaves as people with no value. You don't own your life, you can just kill them. You're allowed to kill these people. They don't have any purpose. I'm pretty sure you know that your father buys these people, wants to give them their freedom, so he doesn't see them like that. You must realize that he sees them with a form of respect. Installing our really crap morals into Omar very early. Hopefully after this episode, he thinks twice about trying to kill somebody, or he thinks twice about trying to become this kind of man. You can push trauma down, try to bury it and forget all about it. There's always a chance that the mask is going to slip at some point. Poor Thorfinn. It's whilst he's waking up, it all falls apart and we see that Thorfinn really is just traumatized. It's a big old heads up to Einar, who finally sees solemn, quiet Thorfinn suddenly not being as calm and collected as he's been all last episode. To answer Einar, what could make a man scream in a dream? Well, season one was enough to make anybody scream. I believe that that scream was just season 1 coming out of Thorfinn, or maybe the thought of never seeing Askeladd ever again could also do that to a person. Einar, you shouldn't be asking that kind of question. You lost your family. Do you not maybe think that reliving that over and over again in your dreams would perhaps make you also scream? The only good moment of the episode where Einar could possibly be in with a chance, as his crush doesn't think his face is bad. Her cuteness is so out of place in this anime, it literally gives Einar a heart attack, and I think her name is Arnheid. I will get that one. As I say it more, I'll learn how to pronounce that one properly. But it was really weird seeing Thorfinn dealing with all of his trauma and his inner demons trying to wash his face, having to calm down whilst we can, in the background, hear Einar flirting in the sense. It's just really weird. I didn't expect him to be flirting, but we do learn that she's not a daughter of Hill. She is simply a bought wife, companion, forced marriage, maybe. Maybe she's just there to entertain him. I guess I'm skirting around a word that I know YouTube definitely doesn't like. But the comment about Einar and his language actually ends up clearing up my issues with the language. This is also thanks to the conversations we had last week in the comments. I did state that I was very confused how they were able to talk very easily amongst themselves. Einar puts it that it's actually commonplace for people to really know two languages because they're also common. I guess they would be hearing these languages and they would have similarity with one another. French and English have a lot of similarities because they're both Latin languages, that type thing. A lot of these languages share the same root. But picking on the newbies, and it seems that sadly Thorfinn and Einar, being quite new, provided the perfect murder subjects for these bodyguards. I'm irritated because, as we're told, they're resident bodyguards, but they are guests. They kind of just do as they please. They come along, they protect the farm from perhaps themselves more so. I can't imagine they need bodyguards because I don't think Denmark's really going to be at risk. You're the ones going and providing the fight elsewhere. But they are still committed to planned murder because planned murder is cool. It doesn't matter if you don't want to die, you're just a slave, you don't actually own your own lives. I didn't also realise how close we were to the sea. Very big kudos to Einar. He is unarmed, but he realises I'm not out of options. He decides that tackling Omar and getting the upper hand and knocking that weapon down is the best move, and absolutely commend his bravery because this is the correct thing. I've been recently watching a lot of videos broken down by sword experts and fighting experts when it comes to movies. One of them did state that if you are without a weapon, the only way you can really hope to get away or escape with your life is being able to break through your opponent, attack early. As soon as you start moving, you need to grapple them. You need to push that weapon out of their way, push the weapon out of their hands, get the hell out of there if you are unarmed. Thorfinn, we're going to discuss Thorfinn, the trauma, post-traumatic stress, PTSD. This is everything speaking, as Thorfinn tells everybody that he's got nothing left to live for. And he's not really bothered about dying. He's fine to die if Owen needs to kill somebody. Just kill me because Einar's got a lot of work to do. Don't involve him. He has no value. He's lost all motivation. There's nothing left. Somebody has nobody they love or nothing to protect. You wouldn't care about dying. So why the hell would we fear death? Hard to stomach because the entire sequence with Thorfinn taking blow after blow, he's not flinching, but the guy doesn't back down and he keeps trying, and it's very obvious the guy isn't bothered by you attacking him. Why are we continuing? It's just becoming you torturing a human being. Even the crowd at one point just starts to quieten a little bit because it's very hard to stomach. It was hard to stomach as well because I knew that nobody was really going to stop it. I did slam the snake guy at this point for saying that he was just watching but not acting. I take it back because he's the only person who ends up stopping the pain that ends up going in Thorfinn's direction. But it's the lack of reaction from Thorfinn that is a product of trauma. He doesn't feel anything. He doesn't care. His emotions are just gone, dead. He's out of touch. He's disconnected. And it's this disconnect that is a way to almost protect himself. We've seen him screaming at the reaction of his dreams, and that is what happens when he's reconnected. Thorfinn doesn't even remember. I think when he's washing his face, he says, I don't remember what I was dreaming about. Definitely a clear sign that Thorfinn has pushed it all down, buried it very far, and he's trying to disassociate from everything that's happened to him. The speech, why do we fear death? What is the purpose of living? What do we gain? And Thorfinn telling everybody that my life has had nothing good. Nothing good has ever happened to me. Seeing death is just an end, just an escape to a very miserable life where nothing good ever happens. Felt for him so badly at this whole point because it really resonated with me. The speech also reminded me of another big media piece. Why do we actually fear death? And death shouldn't be feared. It's actually something we should be welcoming with open hands or something. I don't remember where it's from, but this whole speech he gives reminds me of this. Massively relieved when Snake did intervene, and I had a rush of happiness as he literally lays the smackdown on the arsehole. Should have gone further, personally. I don't wish he would have died, but maybe him actually realising this is the pain that you've inflicted upon another human being. I hated it. That whole sequence was very awkward to sit through. Seeing Thorfinn just crushed by everything, we saw this kid grow. We saw him as a happy child, and then we saw him get kicked again and again. Every time he tried to get up, he was kicked back down, and now he's down. He's just accepted his fate and there's nothing to live for. It's sad because Thorfinn didn't see Leif Erikson coming to try and get him home. To come home, your family are still there. Thorfinn technically does have a home to return to. In the right frame of mind, in the right perspective, he would have something to live for. His sister, his mother, Leif Erikson, a friend, but he doesn't see any of this. None of this has value. At this point, probably even forgotten their names, forgotten where he's come from. He no longer has any of those memories because that's what happens when you're traumatized. That's what happens when you're not given the chance to heal. You end up trying to bury it and not confront it. During this sequence, I was wondering where Ketil was. How are you going to explain Thorfinn's wounds to Ketil? Really hope that he sees Thorfinn and flips the hell out. Next week does seem to be what I'm waiting for. It seems that Thorfinn might wake up a bit because it looks like he's going into a fight with the guy who just stopped the fight. Really hope that something snaps inside Thorfinn and he wakes up and realises, I'm Thorfinn, I'm a fighter, I have a reason to try and fight. It's just really sad for us seeing Thorfinn like this as he is right now. He's barely recognisable. I want Thorfinn to not so much be the angry Thorfinn from season 1 because that also wasn't healthy. I want Thorfinn to try overcoming everything and actually being able to start living for himself and being able to start finding a path forward. Heal, and hopefully him and Einar can take that. 21 episodes. There's a lot of episodes floating around, so it can't just be a simple case of they're going to be on a farm for 21 episodes. But then I could be wrong. I know this has been called Farmville. Maybe it is 21 episodes of being on a farm. It doesn't feel like we'd have a lot to put into the gaps of what we're going to be covering. Be very interested to see where we go next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. I hope you guys are having a great week and you're looking after yourselves. Make sure you are giving yourself time to chill out, relax, and don't turn into Thorfinn because it's not healthy. Thank you so much. I will see you guys again soon. Bye bye.